Hello, I'm Joe. I'm from the band PROTOMARTYR. We're from Detroit, and we're here at the Music Box tonight.
Hi Joe, welcome.
Thanks.
So my first question is about your new album. Although it was not a conceptual album, it was worked on a theme and its variations. Could you tell us a little bit more about the theme you try to explore and the different approaches to it?
Sure. I had originally hoped that I could write a happy album, because all our albums are kind of depressing. But we were on tour when the last U.S. election happened, and we were writing the album all through all that, and so it was kind of it felt like a dark time in America, so it seemed like it was coming out in the lyrics. I was, I guess, not depressed, but kind of sad, and so I think that kind of came out in the way the songs were. And then once we figured out the order, it became kind of like the theme of just untruths and bad guys. So.
Yeah, I read in an interview that it was about the times and the politics we were living in, but you tried to do an approach that was not the common one. So what was your approach to the zeitgeist?
Well, you try to, writing a political song is hard because it can come off like you're trying to tell people what to do, and that's never good for a band like us, because I don't have the answers to things. I don't know how to make the world a better place. So it's mostly just focusing on how you feel in the moment and describing that, because I think people have day-to-day frustrations that have nothing to do with politics. You can wake up and feel sad, and that's got nothing to do with politics, but it can. So it's trying to keep it more personal than universal.
Yeah. Was the verse, this is out of curiosity, but was the verse "Call Me Heraclitus" the obscure starting point for this album, or just a verse that came up? And what does it mean?
I was thinking about just how in ancient times people struggled with the same thing that we did. I read a book from the 1600s that actually talked about Heraclitus in it, and this guy in the 1600s was struggling over depression and sadness, and I kind of liked how that was universal, or kind of went throughout time. And so that's, from looking at one little reference in a book, that I went and read other stuff about it, and it seemed like his philosophical musings were similar to my stupid thoughts, so I thought I'd dress it up a bit.
Okay. In terms of the sonic identity, there is clearly an expansion of the sound of PROTOMARTYR. Sometimes it sounds a little bit orchestral. So are there any influences worth referring throughout this whole process that helped shape the sonority of this album?
Well, Greg, our guitar player, he was really influenced by this band, the Raincoats, from England, and specifically the record Oddie Shape, which they use a lot of, and they had violin throughout their whole career. And I think he wanted to have more strings in it, but not do it in a slightly weird way. He was really into a horror movie called, what the hell, I'm blanking on the name of it, but that used very scary strings in it, and he kind of wanted to have that kind of complement his guitar. So when he first suggested it, I thought it was a bad idea, but it ended up being okay.
Okay. Are there any special story about the cover of this album?
I was looking for a face that I wanted like a beautiful face, but not your typical beautiful face, and I wanted it to be kind of inscrutable, to have where you couldn't tell exactly what the emotion that was trying to come from it. And I found a picture of a very old actress called Maud Feely. She was from the silent era, where she's dressed up like a nun in that picture, but I kind of cropped it to make it a little bit more obscure. And I just really was taken with how it didn't seem, it's confusing. It's somebody said it kind of reminded them of the Sphinx from Egypt, so I thought that was maybe what I was going for without even knowing it. So yeah.
Okay. So your sound also has a relationship with the city you're from, Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
How does it reflect the city spirit?
Well, not much. I mean, it's a very big city, and we're only a small part of it. But what happens in Detroit, a lot of times, 20 years later, will happen to the rest of America. So when Detroit was the Motor City and everything was going great, it was kind of the hearkening of a good period in American history, at least financially. And people don't seem to... I hear two things about Detroit when I travel. People say I hear it's very scary, which it is. or they say it's good for creative people, which it also is. It's a very diverse city, I'm sure, like any other city. But since I live there, it's easy for me to draw inspiration from it.
Yeah, I have only one last question.
Sure.
Any expectations for the show tonight?
No. We're excited, and we just hope it goes well. You know, it's, I guess, sold out. So sorry if you maybe try to scalp a ticket.
Thanks.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.